welcome back to my YouTube channel, my guys. For returning subscribers, karibu sana. Thank you for the continuous support that you are giving me. Watu wangu ni kumoto kunawaka kuwaka. Ligiji wa Mnyoro, opposition leader, alikuwa amesema mafuta itapanda.
Practice as seen in other countries who had relaxed fuel specifications following the effects of the Middle East crisis. Subsequently, Vida letter dated 28th March 2026, reference MITI/CS/Volume 1/Waiver Number 3, signed by Honorable Kenyanjui, CS Minister of Investment, Trade and Industry, addressed to the Honorable P. Wandai, granted waiver for oxygenates, manganese, sulfur, and benzene parameters in the KSES 158/2025. The following companies were awarded, who are the two lowest bidders: One Petroleum and Oryx. These were contingency cargoes with delivery dates on or before 30th March 2026. Their supply position was to provide fuel cover for 2 weeks, thus ensuring product availability during the Easter holidays. But where is the mischief of the oil cartels? William Ruto was well appraised of all these processes and procedures. All the directives were issued by the National Security Council Committee, chaired by Head of Public Service Felix Koskei, Ruto's errand boy. After William Ruto got a brief that Gulf Energy's bid was knocked out on technical grounds and the competitors had gotten their letters of award, he issued clear instructions that Gulf Energy bids be affixed to the procurement process and awarded with immediate effect. Gulf Energy submitted their bids 3 days later, on 23rd March 2026, after the awards had been executed. Their delivery was for the 8th to 15th April 2026, which was 10 days past the preferred date range of 28th March to 2nd April 2026. The bid of Gulf Energy was rejected by the Vessel Alignment Committee, State Department of Petroleum. This being William Ruto's proxy company that supplies 80% of monthly cargoes. He exercised political power. Characteristic of him, this is when the head started rolling. He knew that he had lost profit worth billions of shillings. Through a remarkable architecture, conman attitude, William Ruto orchestrated a terrible propaganda that the fuel supplied was substandard, despite the comprehensive compliance due process followed by the gallant then government officers. To date, the 3 arrested Kenyans, PS Liban, DG EPRA and MD Kenya Pipeline Company, have had no charges preferred on them. Why? They had no case to answer, as they followed and applied the law strictly. The real culprits in this scandal are William Ruto and his broad-based expert, the Honorable P.O. Wandai. Concurrently and maliciously, on the night of 5th and 6th April 2026, as this drama was being executed, William Ruto dispatched a high-power delegation led by CS Wandai, Acting CEO EPRA Engineer Joseph Okech, and other senior government officials, together with Gulf Energy, to renegotiate new pricing with the international oil companies, whose nominated agent is Gulf Energy, a proxy of William Ruto. These prices were negotiated in Dubai, and if you recall, that is why Opiyo Wandai was not available when he was summoned by Parliament, as he was negotiating these prices in Dubai to take into consideration the profit of William Ruto in the new price structure. Kenyans now have to pay for the greed and business of William Ruto, not only on the pump, but across all sectors of the economy. Yesterday night, they increased prices of super petroleum by Kenya shillings 28.69 and diesel by Kenya shillings 40.3 per liter, a historic high since Kenya's independence. You recall 2 weeks ago I announced the price increase of 40 because I had information from the team that was negotiating in Dubai on behalf of William Ruto and his people. Following the April 14, 2026 price adjustment, Mr. William Ruto will earn a profit of Kenya shillings 5 per every liter consumed by the people of Kenya, or the equivalent of 2.5 billion Kenya shillings from the 500 million liters to be supplied for the region's consumption. Since the inception of the so-called G2G agreement, Mr. William Ruto has earned a cool 30 billion shillings in profit from the supply of petroleum products to the region. During the COVID pandemic period and the onset of the Ukraine-Russian war, the then government of the day took measures to cushion the welfare of its citizens, whereas today the William Ruto regime has taken advantage of the Middle East crisis to load their profit on the local palm price to the detriment of Kenyan citizens. We have one question to ask William Ruto. The emergency contingency stocks were procured in accordance with the Petroleum Act 2019. They were done in accordance with the Petroleum Import Regulations 2023, the Open Tender Agreement Terms and Conditions 2023, and the Kenya Bureau of Standards waiver, and the Kenya National Security Council Committee resolutions issued on 9th March 2026. What crime have these three officers committed? Therefore, then, we demand as follows. Mr. William Ruto, leave being on top of the vehicles, as you have always done to lecture the people of Kenya. You must now make hard decisions for the future. Mr. William, this is the time Kenyans are demanding that you immediately stop living your dream and utopia and face reality and put Wanjiku first. Mr. William Ruto, you must immediately direct the Speaker of the National Assembly, your sycophant, to convene a special sitting of Parliament within 7 days to address the following urgent issues, failure to which the united government shall call for national mass action. 1, to cancel the so-called government-to-government petroleum framework, as it involves hard-picked oil marketing companies that represent the William Ruto interests. In any case, the commercial frameworks between William Ruto and private international companies. We want to explain that this is not government to government. This is government companies in the Middle East. In normal circumstances, if it was government to government, these Middle East companies would be working either with NOC.
And then Ruto aka-announce akasema mafuta imeongezwa na shilingi 28. After that what happened?
Ya mafuta hapa Kenya kuzidi bei ya mafuta Uganda. Na hiyo mafuta inapitia Kenya ikienda Uganda.
He suggested that inefficiencies and possible corruption were to blame.
This crisis is orchestrated, and it is as a result of the cartels and barons who have taken over using conflict of interest and state capture.
But even then, the government pushed back strongly.
Hey, angalia hii bei imepanda. Uliza Uhuru. Yaani mimi Uhuru niko Ukraine, mimi ninafanya nini huko? Jameni.
Fast forward to today, and Ruto is president, changing the context, but the questions remain. A new geopolitical tension, the US-Israel versus Iran conflict, is now threatening global oil supply chains. With Kenya largely dependent on imports from the Gulf, the government maintains that external shocks are driving the surge. But beyond global shocks and regional comparisons, another question is emerging.
Honorable Ruto, I'd like to speak about another issue.
During the presidential debate, William Ruto argued that nearly half of the pump price was made up of taxes. He pointed to at least 16 different levies on fuel and called for a rethink, including a review of VAT as part of a broader plan to ease the burden on consumers.
50% almost of the cost of fuel in Kenya is taxes. I think it's time as a country we looked at, I think there are 15 different taxes on fuel.
Today, those taxes largely remain in place, with only a proposal on marginal adjustment on VAT, even as pump prices hit record highs. A shift that is now drawing fresh scrutiny and raising a broader question of consistency. Were global factors irrelevant then, or are they the defining force now? For the administration, the challenge is no longer just explaining rising prices. It is also about aligning past assertions with present realities. From the campaign trails then to the corridors of power now. The question now is on whether the solutions once promised on fuel prices can withstand the realities of governance now. Ibrahim Karanja, NTV, Nairobi.
Mafuta kupanda. Gen Z walikasirika sana kuko na toto shutdown in Nairobi. Here is what Gen Z said. These are some reaction of Gen Z's. Tuambie kama ni wewe. If it were you, what are your reactions? Now tuambie, what do you feel about this? What do you feel about this? Is this government taking us in that direction or not? Kindly share your view there. Tell us. Na kama huja subscribe, kindly subscribe ndio usikuwe na miss any upload yenye tuna make. Thank you for watching.
Una complain bei ya mafuta imepanda, mtu anakuuliza wewe uko na gari. Kwani nikienda Bungoma na bebwanga na mamako mgongo? Ama gari yenye napandange natumianga nini, maji? Ama makamasi? Inatumia mafuta. So means kama bei imepanda, bei ya mafuta, means of transport pia is nini, bei inapandishwa juu. Continue. Transport itakuwa juu. Mwacha upuzi hii, maasira za upuzi mnaletea watu huku bana. Ati uko na gari. Bungoma naenda, wewe ndo unanibebanga mgongo paka Bungoma, si ndio? Haya, ukujo nitoe, nataka kufika nini Kayole hapa hivi unibebe mgongo basi. Hii upuzi muache. Kitu serious nyinyi mnachukulia jokes. Umenikasirisha.
Mimi nataka niwaambie hii mafuta inaongezwa usiku na mchana. Mimi nataka niwaeleze ya kwamba these people don't understand the damage they are doing to the people and the economy of Kenya.
Is it because of the war in Ukraine, or is it because of the crisis with our oil marketers? Which is which? And that goes to tell you that this crisis is orchestrated, and it is as a result of the cartels and barons who have taken over, using conflict of interest and state capture in our economy. I mean, a straight answer would be, how come that fuel in Uganda is cheaper than fuel in Kenya? So, and yet the fuel being sold in Uganda goes through Kenya. That tells you that that kind of explanation is escapist and has no basis whatsoever.
Ile cartel ya ufisadi iko pale ndio inasababisha bei ya mafuta hapa Kenya kuzidi bei ya mafuta Uganda, na hiyo mafuta inapitia Kenya ikienda Uganda. Jameni, unaweza kutueleza vipi ati bei ya mafuta hapa Kenya mahali ni karibu na mahali mafuta inatoka iko bei juu kuliko Uganda, na Uganda inachukua mafuta kutoka hapa kwetu? That is the explanation that Kenyans want to know. The corruption cartel at the Ministry of Petroleum.
Tuliza boli, kiwanja kidogo. Tuliza boli, haya si madogo. Tuliza boli, Kenya si kidogo. Nani yuasema haya yani? Nani ansema yale? Internet will never forget. Tuko wapi sasa? Tuko wapi wa Kenya, tusidanganyane yani. Tuko wapi hivi sasa tunaongea? Tunavyoongea hivi sasa Bwana Zakayo anaenda kupata faida ya 2.5 billion shillings kutokana na kupanda kwa bidhaa hii ya mafuta. Si maneno yangu, Mkenya mzalendo. Sikiza haya, narudi baadaye.
Mr. William Ruto will earn a profit of Kenya shillings 5 per every litre consumed by the people of Kenya, or the equivalent of 2.5 billion Kenya shillings, from the 500 million litres to be supplied for the region's consumption. Since the inception of the so-called G2G agreement, Mr. William Ruto has earned a cool 30 billion shillings in profit from the supply of petroleum products to the region.
Je, Gachagua anatoa wapi taarifa hizi? Wamnyoro alijuaje mafuta itapanda na shilingi 40 na ako nje ya serikali? Mwelewe haya wa Kenya. Hata Wandayi ambaye yuko ndani zaidi ya serikali hakuweza kutuambia kwamba mafuta itapanda na shilingi 40. Wamnyoro aliyasema haya hapo last week. Na kwa kweli mafuta imepanda. Hivi sasa hizi tunaongea diesel imepanda na shilingi 40, petroli shilingi 28. Ndio nawaeleza Wakenya wenzangu, hapa tunatafuta viongozi bora, wala si bora viongozi.
Anasema hii mafuta hata ikipanda anapata faida. So in the next 3-4 weeks mafuta itapanda na zaidi ya 40 shillings kuendelea mbele. So na ikipanda fare itapanda, kila kitu itapanda. Sasa wewe William Ruto umetajirika. Sasa hii utajiri mingi ni ya nini? Si umeumiza sisi ya kutosha. Tafadhali tosheka na ile umepata. Hiyo inatosha wewe. Sasa hii ya mafuta umesema iongezwe hata ifike pesa ngapi? Wewe ujali. So that is the problem.
Watu wa miula miwili, sijui pande yenu kama April ameweza kuwapunguzia pia bei ya mafuta ama iko vipi side ya kwenu. Kwa upande mwingine, nakumbuka National Assembly Committee juzi wakitueleza na kutuhakikishia kwamba tunayo mafuta ya kutosha katika nchi hii. Na shida peke yake ambayo twakabiliana nayo ni kwamba wauzaji wote wa bidhaa hii wameshikilia na walikuwa wanategea tu bei ipande ili wafaidike. Na baada ya masaa machache tu baada ya April kutangaza, wao wote ndio hao Mosi wakaenda pia wakapandisha. Nani ataumia hapa? Ni mimi na wewe ambaye tunaenda soko tunapata bidhaa za kawaida, bei iko juu. Hii mfumo tunaambiwa ambayo inaitwa G2G, naona ni kama ni ukora na biashara ya wakubwa fulani hapa nchini. Itakuwaje Mkenya analia mafuta iko juu zaidi, shilingi zaidi ya 200, na tunao viongozi ndani ya serikali hii ndio wenye makampuni ya G2G. Wao kule wanahesabu faida, Wakenya wakilia wakiweka mafuta. Hii ni aibu sana kwa hawa tunaowaita eti ni viongozi. Nilisikia kiongozi fulani akisema kwamba kazi ambao wako nayo hawa viongozi ni kununua mashini tu za kuhesabu faida yao ya G2G kipindi kile Wakenya wanalia mafuta imepanda. Nazidi kusema walienda kule Turkana na kuiba mafuta yako wapi? Anyway, letu jicho sikio, manake tuko kwa harakati tukitafuta viongozi bora, watu ambao wataongoza nchi hii kwa njia ambayo iko na integrity, watu ambao tunaweza wita hawa ndio viongozi bora kwenye nchi hii. Mkenya akilia, wao wanachukua jukumu gani ili waweze kusikiza Mkenya? Anyway, sijui maoni yako ni yapi Mkenya mzalendo. Tukutane pale kwa comment section tuweze jadili zaidi. Je, kupanda huku kwa bidhaa hii ni haki ambayo inapewa Mkenya ama si haki? Kweli ya kuonana, Mama Radi hapa.